Welcome to the third race in our racing career. We have all our fingers and toes crossed that we will finish the race this time. If you saw our last video, you saw that we ended up blowing our differential in the first hour of the race and had to cry all the way home. We have a new stronger diff ready to try out, but there's one pretty big problem. Today is raining really hard, and we've never tried racing in the rain. Time for another episode of Derek and Mike Learn As We Go.
Alright guys, so this is round 4 of the race. We're going to see how we can do in the rain. Have a look. Final round. Fight!
We're currently sitting in 8th place for the 2019 season. This will be our final race of the 4 this year. With several teams closely packed together, this race could shake up things and could cause some major shifts in the rankings.
We've got me driving with regular Mike. What's up, regular Mike?
I'm the regular schmegger.
Special guest today is Brendon. He's the guy that you saw in the videos doing the mechanic work on the car. Here we're going to take Brendon out for a bit and teach him the track. Kind of in the practice, we have to have the headlights on. And so, retractable headlights for the win there. Kind of hoping for no crash. We're definitely still not good enough to, rank that high in the race, but we'll see how it goes.
To put it lightly, practice kicked our butts and left us feeling dumb. It was our first time racing in the rain, and so it felt like starting from scratch all over again. There were some spinouts, there were some slow laps, and a lot of confusion about how to handle the conditions. Everything was so much more delicate in these conditions. If you brake too much, you skid. If you turn too much, you spin. You really need to feel the car. Since we are still new at racing, that muscle memory and fine motor skills that we needed simply weren't there.
We're just going to try these tires on it this time. I think we're too slick here with the Nankang AR1s. Take a look at this. We can't even melt the rubber that has piled up on the last track day. So these ones here give better channeling, and apparently these are pretty good tires in the wet. But these are a 2013 tire. They're a little bit old. I still think that they're going to be better than these Nankangs that are on here. We got some of the people changing tires. Some of them are sticking with their summer tires. It really depends on how each person feels. We got that other team over there that has WRX and the Skyline. They're trying to figure out which one's going to be faster on the track. Everybody who used to be extremely fast is now not much faster than we are because of grip limits.
Okay, practice is done now. I wish I could show you clips of it, but when reviewing the footage, we found that nobody got any. Looking back, I suspect nobody wanted to stand in the rain and film it. Fair enough, it was heavily raining, and it would soak you to the bone in 5 minutes. We didn't bring an umbrella.
Okay, we only got 7 minutes on the track there to warm up the tires, and it didn't warm up the tires well enough, or they still feel like they're really cold. And so qualifying now starts in about 5 minutes. And we get 2 qualifying heats. The first one's going to be 15 minutes long. The second one's going to be 10 minutes long. I'm going to take the first stint, and then Mike's going to take the second one. And hopefully we can get the tires up to temperature before qualifying is done. Everyone gets a little bit of a break here, so we're kind of all in the same boat, where all of the tires are going to be cooling down. It is very cold here, probably like 5 degrees or so. How much time in total did you get in the car? Not much, right? So you basically got about 30 minutes in the car.
Yep. And
the next time you're going to be in the car, it's going to be race time. Luckily, all the other cars are going so much slower than they usually do, and so it's a little bit less scary. It gives you more reaction time.
Yep.
And it's good to see the other cars spinning out too. I mean, it's kind of a dickhead thing to say, but if the other cars are spinning out, I don't feel so bad when I'm spinning out. Mike gets to go first, Brendon gets to go second, and I get to walk home.
Talking about Mike's socks then. Well, Mike's excellent choice of socks.
Okay, qualifying number 1 is done. Not so good. No crashes, that's good news, but a lot of sliding around. Still not feeling like we got warm enough tires. Still not feeling like we got enough practice in the wet in order to really figure out what's going on. And so next qualifying is Mike, and then we'll see how that goes. We'll get the times for both qualifying. I feel like, Mike, you're going to be able to get faster than I did on that. I felt like practicing with the Nankang tires, I was faster. But you'll see. If you crash, you ruin it for everybody. Good luck. Don't forget that. Mike qualifying in 3 minutes. Any last words before you ruin our car for everybody?
Just joking.
Have a good race.
You were probably expecting some epic shots of Mike, right? Well, yeah, for some reason filming wasn't exactly our strong suit in 2019. Let's just pretend that never happened and we'll jump straight to what Mike has to say.
Okay, Mike, give me some news.
Well,
I saw you spin on the first lap.
I spun on the first lap to give myself some room behind everyone, you know?
Right.
Because I'm pretty quick, so I didn't want to come up on him.
Yeah.
Hi, Derek here from Derek's Driving Academy. This announcement comes from the future now that we understand tires more. This is a pretty huge failure for us this time, so be sure to pay attention. Semi-slick tires, like the ones we are using, really don't like to be cold. They only really get good grip within the temperature range set by the manufacturer. Too cold and they don't grip, like at all. When the weather is wet, the water pulls all the heat from the tires, just like your wet naked butt getting out of the shower. With a constant barrage of water, the tires can't work up the heat that they need, making them feel like ice blocks on the track. The same goes for the street too, so consider this before you get semi-slick tires for your street car. What made things worse, and probably the bigger problem for us, is that we were using a 6-year-old semi-slick tire. After a few years, the outside layer gets hard and produces even less grip. If we were in the dry, the hard outside would burn off, letting us get down to the soft inner rubber. Since it's wet, we couldn't do that, and instead of having nice supple tires, we had PVC pipe-like tires.
Do you think these tires for the race, or should we switch over?
We have to use these ones now.
Except in the middle of the race, we can switch them.
Yeah.
So probably the time it takes to switch tires might not be worth it.
So after we embarrassed ourselves in qualifying, it was time to sit down for lunch and talk about our times. My lap time was 1 minute and 5.2 seconds. Mike's was 1 minute and 6.1 seconds. So Mike and I were 11 seconds slower than our top times in the dry, which makes sense. The race organizers told us that in wet conditions, you'll drop probably about 10 seconds per lap. Perhaps if we had newer tires, we would be right in line with our best. Then we looked at the other teams. Their lap times were up to 7 seconds faster than us. We were a bit dumbstruck. The other teams didn't seem that much faster in practice. Were the other teams pushing it too much in qualifying? And if so, would there be any crashes on the track today?
Okay, cars lined up to the grid. And Mike's starting this time. Because last time, Mike didn't get a chance to go. So Mike's gonna do 30 minutes. And then make sure you press the start button on the clock there after you take your first lap. Okay, we're leaving now.
All right. Shake and bake, baby.
We're gonna do 1 lap of warm-up tires and then come back and then start.
The Celica is the closest team to our time and would be our rival in this race. Their qualifying time is 101.2, and if you compare that to our best time of 105.2, that's a 4-second difference. Yikes.
We're not Mike! Yeah, Mike!
The start of the race is always frantic. With so many cars so close together, there's a high chance that there will be some contact. Mike was starting the race, and he couldn't put down any traction at the beginning in our PVC pipe tires. The number 6 MRS managed to pass the S15 right at the beginning. perhaps due to the fact that they get more grip in the back because of the engine being in the middle of the car. Lucky for everyone, there were no bumps or scrapes for the first part of the race. Each lap, we fell further and further behind. By the time of our first driver change, we were already 2 laps behind our rival, the Celica.
Okay, driver change number 1. This is Mike coming in. Brendon going out.
For this driver change, we decided not to top up on fuel just yet to avoid the required refueling time. Every time you refuel, you need to wait 3 minutes before you can go out again. We were down on pace, but perhaps that meant that we could use less fuel than the other teams. Unfortunately, we ran into something unexpected. Getting Brendon into the car and buckled up took, well, a really long time. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to be exact. That's basically 3 laps that we lost when considering the time it takes to come into the pits and head back out. So much for that strategy.
Crotch fog.
Just fighting it the whole way around the track. And I feel like the slowest section is that really tight double corner.
Really?
Yeah, I cannot get power no matter what I do. I don't know.
Look, the lens is all clouded up. There you go. 105.2. We're already 5 laps down from the person that's in front of us. Nonetheless, the more slippery it is, the more training we're getting for making sure we get our throttle positions right.
Yeah.
S14 Sylvia over there is out of the race. I don't know what's going on, but this is their spare car. When you switch to a spare car, you have to take a penalty. That's why he's in the penalty box right now. But this car here definitely is going to be a slower car because they're used to driving that S14. We also have another problem. Brendon's turned his headlights off. And they keep showing him the headlight board, but he can't read it because he doesn't know Japanese. Good boy! Good boy turning your headlights on.
Nice.
We didn't have to come in for a penalty. Oh man, when you went out for the beginning, this car was killing it. They were fighting against the silver MRF.
Oh.
And this one was behind, and just like 20 laps. Couldn't get past, and they were battling. It was all tense. Zannen. What's Zannen? I thought Brendon crashed. I heard the announcer saying, "Oh no, it's too bad!" And I couldn't find Brendon. I was panicking. Yeah, we definitely need to ditch those tires or use them for burnout competition.
Did you like my burnout at the start?
Yeah.
Or was it average?
No, your burnout kicked butt, and I got it on camera. And I was like, "You go, boy!"
Yeah, boy.
Oh, WRX spins out,
4-wheel drive doesn't mean anything.
and he's in the way of everybody. Okay, 2 hours into the 3-hour race. We are 17 laps down from first place and 10 laps down from second to last place. The people in the S14 that were in second place, they have now fallen down to second to last place right in front of us. They're driving the WRX. Obviously not a competitive car regularly for them. There's Mike. So Mike got a 107 there. Okay, now that's carnage. So what's happened is the WRX changed the driver. He is way faster. He's clocking in like 1 minute laps. When previously it was doing like 104. He's trying to fight this MRS. The MRS is blocking him from passing. All right, here it is. He's going to be able to pass him here. He's on the outside. Oh! Couldn't sneak in. And then Celica went for a driver change too. Their driver isn't as experienced, and so he's been spinning and he's been clocking laps around 106, which is a little bit slower than Mike's laps. Here they are again. Look at that. Every lap. That WRX is trying to cut. He came in here, he tried to cut the inside. He wasn't given space. Look at this. He ran over the inside of the track there. And he took the very inside line there. Obviously more power than WRX. There it is. but the 280 horsepower of that Impreza is probably not that much more powerful compared to the 200-ish of the MRS, when you consider the MRS is probably 400 kilos lighter.
The rain stayed until the end of the race. All the remaining stints went by without a hitch. Honestly, we were really worried about crashing the car and ending the whole racing career right then and there. It kept us on our toes and kept us careful, but we were definitely not fast. I'm happy to lose if it means that the car could survive and live for another day. This race taught us to be humble and definitely to respect the weather. Perhaps we can push more when we have more experience and some better tires. Remember, this was one of our first races and was Brendon's first ever time on a track.
Okay, the race is over now, and I am beat. I've never been raced that much in any of the races before. This was only a 3-hour one. Let's have a quick look here at the final results and see how many laps we were behind.
We've seen quite a few changes in the starting grid. The big winner of the race is Link Garage Makeup A in their silver MRS, who made an impressive jump from 4th to 1st place. On the flip side, the team that took the biggest hit was the Onsen Beer Club in the S14, who dropped 3 positions. And then there's us, finishing last once again. This time we were 24 laps down from the first place driver, and a pretty sad 15 laps down from the Celica. And with that, we wrapped up the final race of the 2019 season. In terms of points, we gained 14 in this race, keeping us in 8th place overall. Another Beer Please moved up 1 spot, thanks to K2 Garage not participating. In the end though, thanks to Garage Makeup A's stunning win, the top position stayed the same, and they claimed the season victory. As for us, well, we are not last overall, so that's something, right? After 3 races, we can now call ourselves experienced drivers, even if just barely. The rain kept us from really proving how much faster we were, though we did improve throughout the race. I got faster by 0.6 of a second, down to 104.662, and Mike got faster by 0.9, down to 105.257. I was still faster overall, but the difference was narrowing. Brendon's best time was 109.948. I have to give a really big thanks to Brendon in this race. It's easy as a car guy to assume that we are fast at driving, and then you get annoyed or frustrated when you aren't as fast as you thought you would be. It's easy in the heat of a race to try to push for those faster numbers. Then you get into trouble when you don't have the skill to back it up. Brendon was level-headed and kept to the speeds that he felt were safe to drive, and for that, you deserve a big shout out. While it wasn't a full season for us, it was quite an experience. We had a few hardships, but nothing extreme, and best of all, no crashes. Race 1 taught us that we sucked at racing and gave us the motivation to try again and see improvements. Race 2 gave us our first ever breakdown and our first race that we couldn't complete. Race 3 taught us how different wet racing can be and how to manage your tires better. 2020 has the chance to be a much better season. You will see us prepping for the next race pretty soon. We have some new parts for the car and they made us much faster and cooler than we expected. Make sure you subscribe to see what happens next and how our little roadster develops over time.